Hi, thanks for joining me today. This is the project that I'm going to be showing you today. It's this cute little treat container. And you can see, whoops, that the bottom is a square, but then the top portion here is more like a gift bag. I have heard of this project referred to as a box bag, a bag box, and a box in a bag. So I'm not quite sure what the name of this project is, but it's super cute. This is one of my favorite little treat containers to make. And you can see that today I chose to make it with this, you can see how that is the transparency. Can you see that? This is the flocked transparency from the Candlelight Christmas designer paper. And you can see I just have some Hershey Kisses in there. And I think that it just gives it a really sweet special touch for a Christmas project. But you could of course do this with this portion here just as regular designer paper. These are all the pieces that you need to make this project. I have a piece of real red cardstock, and this measures 3.5 inches square. A piece of the flock transparency, or just regular designer paper if you choose, and this measures 3 inches by 10.5 inches. So out of one sheet of designer paper, it's 12 by 12, you can get 4 boxes. And then also a little piece of the silver glimmer paper. And what I did on this one was I took my whole sheet of glimmer paper and I used my scallop punch along the edge. And then I put that into my trimmer and cut it so that it measures 3/8 of an inch. And this is also 10.5 inches the long way. And then of course you are going to want to use sticky strip to put together this box, especially if you're using the transparency, because it's just very slightly less flexible than the designer paper. You're also going to need your scoring board or your trimmer with a scoring blade in it. And we have our 3.5 inch square piece of real red cardstock, and we need to score this at 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. But I find that it's very hard to hold this and get my stylus in there at 1/2 inch. I just have a really hard time doing that. So I'm actually going to score this at 3 inches all around on all 4 sides. And I apologize for the shadows in this video. It is a cloudy day, and so I had to turn some of my inside lights on. And that is what's causing the shadows, so I apologize for that. So there we go. We end up with our piece of cardstock scored at 1/2 inch in from all 4 sides. So now we want to take our paper snips and cut on 2 sides only. Cut on the score line up to the intersecting perpendicular score line. So I'll just cut, and we're creating these little tabs on the side here. And then on the opposite side, you're going to do the same thing. And now we can go ahead and fold on all of our score lines. And then what you want to do is take these tabs on the 4 corners and fold them in towards the inside of the box. Just like that. And you're going to put your sticky strip on this part of the tab right here. So I don't know how well you can see that, but I went ahead and I put my sticky strip on all 4 tabs. And I can just go ahead and take the red backing off. Now we just put this together like a lot of other boxes. I'm just going to fold in the tab and line up the edge of this piece here with the fold. Press that down. Okay, working my way around. I'll do the same thing over here. Just line that up. Press it down. And if you have, can you see that? There's a little bit of overhang there. You can just trim that off when you're finished if you have any sides that have that. Do the same thing here. Fold the tab in. And one more. Just like that. And now this is going to be the base of our treat holder. And the next step is going to be to add sticky strip along one long side and one short side of our flocked window sheet, and make sure that you do this on the inside, so the side that is just the window sheet and doesn't have the fuzzy part on it. So along one long side and one short side, and then all along the bottom of our scalloped silver glimmer paper. You can go ahead and remove the backing from your sticky strip along the long side of your window sheet. What you want to do is take your box and you're going to place it about halfway onto the window sheet so that the bottom of the box is flush with the bottom of the window sheet. And just stick that down. And now you're going to roll your box around, sticking it down onto the window sheet. But because the window sheet doesn't like to bend quite as nicely as designer paper, you're going to have to kind of help it along. So what I like to do is hold it down with my left hand like this. And I'm going to kind of, with my right hand, push the box away from me as I line it up, making sure, can you kind of see that? Making sure that the bottom is flush with the edge of the window sheet. And that action of pushing it away from me as I roll it towards me is what's going to allow the window sheet to curve nicely around that corner. So then I'll just keep going. I'm holding down the window sheet with my left hand. I've got my right hand, 2 fingers in the corner, and I'm just going to kind of push it away from me as I roll it towards me and make sure that it's aligned with the edge of that window sheet. So again, you can see now we have it around those 2 corners very nicely. I'll do 2 more edges. And then before you do the last one, you just want to take the backing off of that last piece of sticky strip that goes the short way. And then I can just bring this last piece of the window sheet around the last part of the box. And I'm pulling pretty firmly to make sure that it goes around that last corner nicely. I'll just stick that down. Then I can go ahead and make sure that the top is aligned and stick down that seam. Now, I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but you will be able to see the sticky strip through the transparency on that one seam. But once you get the whole container all put together and the treats inside, really nobody is going to notice that. Then the last thing that I like to do is just take my bone folder, take the tip of my bone folder, and I'm going to run it along, pressing down onto my table, but I'm just going to run it along all of the edges of my little box in there, just to make sure that that sticky strip is really well adhered to the transparency. Now, if you're using designer series paper, you could leave it just like this, or you could put some decorative trim around the outside of the bottom. However, because we did this using transparency, you can see the sticky strip through the transparency. So you definitely want to put some sort of piece around the bottom. And I chose to use the silver glimmer paper for this, and you can see that when I place it flush with the bottom of the box, you can see a little bit of that real red cardstock showing through. I did that on purpose because I like the way it looks, and so for that reason I chose to have my glimmer paper measure 3/8 of an inch after I cut the scallop. But if you want to hide that, you could certainly have your coordinating paper, your glimmer paper or cardstock or whatever you choose, be just a little bit wider, and then that will cover up that red cardstock inside. So we're going to do this the same way that we put our treat container together. I'll just take the sticky strip off. And I'm going to line this up with the seam, making sure that it's flush along the bottom of the container. And I'll do the same thing. I'm just going to roll it around. Again, making sure that it's flush on every side. And I'm going to do the same thing with my bone folder that I did before, just to make sure that that is pressed on really, really well, especially going around the corners. Then all you need to do is take a hole punch, and I like to use my crocodile for this. Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell a crocodile anymore, which makes me very sad. But I know that it'll cut through the transparency, so that's why I like to use this one. And just line that up in the center of the front and punch a hole. And I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to line it up in the center of the back and punch a hole. And then I just took my gumball green sweater trim. This is in the holiday catalog. And all you have to do, oops, little fuzzies there. We'll just feed it through both holes like that. And then after you put your treats inside, all you have to do is just bring it together like that and tie it in a little bow on the front. So again, here you can see how I did that. I just tied the sweater trim through the holes, and then I just made this cute little tag to tie onto the front. And you have a nice little treat all ready to go to give to a teacher or a neighbor. Or I love the idea of having these as a combination place card and party favor if you're having a holiday party or a dinner. All you need to do is just stamp or write the person's name on the tag, and then just set one of these at each place at your table, and you've got a great little place card, and then it's a little party favor for them to take home afterwards. So I hope you enjoyed this project, and thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you next time, and until then, happy stampin'. Bye-bye.